Rumours swirling around Huddersfield this morning about Zach Hardacre and around the rugby league community. So Tanya, without a shadow of a doubt, had to ask that question to Steve McNamara. But do you get a sense he's getting more and more frustrated about having to talk about non-rugby league matters?
Well, it's disappointing that it has to, but part of the job is you have to field questions. Now you field those questions as a representation. But I think his squad's pretty intact. I think they're complete. I think they're really fired up for this game. And as some start, we have to speak about the talent within this group and what they have to do, and we're doing that today.
Is he trying to foster, Earl, do you think, a sort of us against the world mentality in that England camp?
It's hard to say, really. You can't really pin that on it as yet. I mean, obviously he's becoming agitated with these questions, but at the same time, that's irrelevant now. It's about those lads in the changing rooms and making sure that they're prepared to the best they can and getting out there and putting in a massive performance.
I wonder whether this is one of the problems of having of being the home team. As you can see, Ryan Hall is shining like a beacon in the foreground. Came from the background to the foreground there, right on cue. We've been talking to Ryan and he's been explaining to us what it takes to be an international winger. So 36 tackles there is Sam Burgess missing out this game. So 36 tackles in 66 minutes. Is that what you worked it out?
Yeah, definitely. That's the whole game that he plays, 66 minutes, and something like me and JP will probably go around that sort of average. But you get players who don't play quite as many minutes and then end up just being a bit more of an impact player. And I think that with George Burgess, he's a bit more like that and can be a bit more threatening to the defence.
Yeah, I think the two different front rowers out there. Brett White
stood behind him. What do Ireland have to do in this first 15-20 minutes?
I think Ireland need to complete the sets and just compete with England, get a good kicking game away. Liam Finn's at the front there, he needs to kick well, and then just need to try and stay in the game with England. I think Leroy's grown. He's grown from his performance against Australia last week. I thought it was exceptional last week against Australia, and he's done it again this week. He's the best centre at the moment.
Look at the size of him there. He's definitely grown. That boy is getting big and he's turned into a real good athlete.
I mean, it's a serious-looking dressing room at the moment. And maybe in some ways you would expect that they're only halfway through. In other ways you might expect them to look slightly happy that they're 30-0 up. But that goes back to the comments when we started half-time.
I think the players know themselves when you get a little bit too cute with the ball and try things a little bit too fancy, and we saw that towards the end of the first half. I think we'll back ourselves to defend it, but you've got to make sure the skills on when you catch the ball, which they didn't do at times last week.
Sam Tompkins, as they continue to listen to Steve McNamara, who is talking to the England team. As well as looking at the tries, Jamie, you've also looked at just an area where England, you think, have improved since last week or worked on.
Yeah, we spoke a lot about attack being a professional alongside him, and White is so highly rated by coaches and the players who play alongside him.
It does seem that there's more debate about Kevin Sinfield starting for England, and Jamie's shaking his head. You get annoyed by it, don't you?
Yeah, I do. You know, I've won 5 grand finals with him, and I've played in high pressure, high intensity games, and he's just come up with the goods time and time again. And he's an exceptional player, and he's got so many great small facets of his game, which we've highlighted there. That's why he's in the team.
What I'll reinforce to help Jamie and his frustration out there with Kevin Field, with his anger management. And say, right, let's rebuild this, that leadership quality, that exceptional skill quality at the right time. That's when we need to ask the questions and debates about who's doing what when we play Australia, New Zealand, maybe even Fiji, maybe even Samoa, Tonga, if it comes down to that in a tight arm wrestle game.
Still huge discussion, isn't there, Earl, going on in that England dressing room?
Yeah, I think they will be talking about maybe not quite good enough for the points in the game, but at the beginning of the game they will be very happy with the way they started. They just couldn't carry it on all the way through, but sometimes that is down to the opposition you play against as well. Second half, Ireland did stand up, probably not the opposition. I think next time against Fiji it'll be a different prospect altogether.
Yeah, I think if you went into this game at the end of the game, before the game was said, England will win 42-0, Ireland won't score, we'd all be happy with it, we'd all think